Today, I wanted to create a little bit of content that I felt would be really, really useful for so many in really uncertain times. It felt really timely for me to do so right now, given that obviously currently if you're watching this video, probably today if you're a client, or maybe later if you are not, we're living in a bit of an uncertain time at the moment, given that we have had lots of news updates that Iran and the US and Israel are at war. Now, I currently live in Dubai, so that has meant that we are sort of central in this situation, and have experienced some things that we probably wouldn't have expected to have experienced maybe in our lifetime. As lucky and as grateful as we are for that. Now, this video is not about geopolitics in any shape or form, and this is not about my opinion of that situation, but it felt really timely to be able to produce something that's really useful for women in times of uncertainty, which is what we're currently doing right now. So I see and speak to women all the time who go through moments of challenge and uncertainty in their life. We all do, right? And this can show up in so many different ways. It's not always geopolitics or, being close to war, being stuck in a country. It's not actually all that. It could be anything. It can be grief. It can be illness in the family. It could be IVF. It could be losing your job. It can be so many different things. And life has so many different curveballs that are thrown our way all the time. I'm sure if you're watching this, you have experienced one of those times, or maybe more. I know I have, and I know that so many of you watching this will have as well. So in this video, I just wanted to go through some of the ways that we can try to be resilient and really regulate ourselves. That doesn't necessarily mean to undermine what's going on around us. It's not about that, but it's about understanding what we can do in this current situation to have some form of calm, still, peace, and essentially not crumble. So when we go through life challenge, when we have situations that happen that are scary or sad or make us angry, or that we don't understand, or that we're living through, what happens to our body is our cortisol rises, and our response can be so many different things. For example, doom scrolling, tiredness, snapping at people, emotional eating. It can be anything like that we tend to, everyone's triggers are different and everyone's response is different. And that's normal. That is totally normal for us to feel like that. What we want to do is understand our response and try to understand how we can regulate our mind and our body to bring us that still and that calmness as much as possible. The thing is, with most of us, and particularly with women who are high achievers or high performing, we love to have control. Control in our lives is what gives us calmness. It stops us from feeling overwhelmed, and it allows us to know that everything is in the right place, and we need all of those things in place for success. So we think. But unfortunately, sometimes that can lead into that area of either perfectionism or maybe not knowing what to do when you can't control the situation, which is obviously what we are talking about now. We can't control politics. We can't control the outcome of a breakup. Sometimes we can't control illness or bereavement. We sometimes can't control those things, and sometimes we don't know the timeline of those things either. So it's really important that we take a step back and that we look at the things that we can control. Now, if you know me or you're a client of mine, you will know that I talk about controlling the controllables and focusing on that all the time. And this is really leading into that. What can we control in our life at the moment? So for me, bringing this back to the example that I'm currently living through, I have done a couple of things to try and regulate myself. I have started to consume less news. I think that's quite useful. I have actually taken some time away from social media, and any social media accounts in which I felt that I was having a really strong emotional response to, or that was triggering me in terms of opinions, I've unfollowed. And I've also had a lot less screen time. So in terms of like waking up in the morning and going to bed, I do not look at my phone for the first hour of the day. And this is something that I always am an advocate for anyway, because it can really change your mood anyway, just generally day to day. But if there is something going on, it can feel heightened when you just are immersed and consumed by social media most of the time. So it's about kind of doing things that control the inputs. So they're what I would call the inputs, the things that I am consuming. The other thing I want you to think about around this are the anchors. What are the things that keep you grounded usually, that feel great? So for me, I have now been lucky enough to actually go to the gym. The gym is open. It's a short walk from my house. I feel safe to do so. And I've also been for a run this morning, and that allowed me to clear my head. And again, I felt safe enough to do that. The other thing is I've kept my nutrition on point, and I haven't resorted to alcohol or things that I know will just make me feel more tired in this moment. Good food, good nutrition, things that are going to energize me, lots of fruit and vegetables, high protein, things that are going to help me sleep at night. All of the things that obviously I'm struggling with at the moment in terms of just the anxiety at night, sleep, etc. So making sure that all of those things are there and trying to go to bed at a good time. And of course, the whole social media thing plays into that really well. Structure and routine is very important. The other thing is your physiology. So quite often we want to be able to think our way out of a stressful situation. Sometimes we just can't do that, because if your body is dysregulated, then it's really hard. You need to be able to try and match the two. So if you're able to, absolutely get some vitamin D, get some sunshine, get a walk in, even if it's about thinking about your breathing and trying to slow down your breathing, longer exhales and inhales of breath, all of those things to just try and regulate your body and your nervous system is really important, to allow your mind to catch up with your body and then them two things to be aligned. Now, the other thing is around perspective. And when I talk about perspective, I don't mean playing down the situation that you're in, because actually often that's not the case. Often we are going through quite challenging things and we can't play them down. This isn't about having a super abundant mindset that completely kind of should put all of your fears and anxieties to bed. Absolutely not. It is absolutely normal and okay to allow yourself to feel the emotions that you feel in your current situation. For example, I currently am still very unsettled. I'm still not really sleeping at night. I am extremely tired, but what I'm trying to do is think about the perspective of my current situation, not the political situation, my current situation, in that I am very grateful that I do feel actually quite extremely safe given the circumstances. I'm grateful to still be able to get to the gym and move my body. I'm grateful that I still have access to deliveries and food if I need to. That hasn't, the supply hasn't run out yet. And it's okay to have those two things at once. It's okay to have two truths. It's okay to feel fear, but it's also okay to feel gratitude for moments that you have too, right? So that's all about the kind of perspective of it, and trying to look at your gratitude in the day. It really, really does help bring some light into those heavy moments. And why is this so important? Why do we need to do that? Well, resilience is really, really key. And actually resilience is built when we practice. Because the next time something happens, which is inevitable, and your challenges will come back around, you often hear people say when it rains, it pours, right? We're never kind of out the clear of things that can happen in our lives. But the resilience that we can build is super important for the next time and the next challenge. And resilience is built at this moment. It's built in the challenge. It's when you have to really try and work hard to show up and think about all of the things that I've just mentioned. That's when it really counts. Next time that something happens in your life, you won't catastrophize as much, you won't sit and worry as much, you will feel more regulation in your life, and that is so key. The more resilience you can build, the better, the quicker you'll get back to a more calm and regulated self and state. And that's all I really wanted to cover in this video, is allowing you to understand when things get tough. And I know that there'll be people watching this who really feel that currently at the moment. It's okay to be fearful, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to feel all of the emotions that you feel about whatever current situation that you are in. But hopefully this video can give you a bit of reassurance that there are things that you can do to help yourself through that situation. Regulate your body, regulate your mind, to bring yourself some calmness, to stop yourself catastrophizing, to stop your anxiety increasing, to stop feeling as though you're spiraling out of control, which is super important. And of course, if you are somebody who is training and you're a coach, you're a client and we coach you, then any time that you feel like that, be honest with your coach, please message them, let them know, have that conversation. This is why we build the community of women that we have, to support each other through these times. As I say, this isn't about being the strongest, most resilient, abundant person in the world. It's absolutely not, because it's okay to not be okay. But it's about recognizing that you're stronger than you think, you're stronger than you know. There are things that you can do to minimize the noise, to help regulate your body, help regulate your mind, and hopefully feel calmer in the situation, so that when it does pass and when you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, you've protected your mind, body, and soul in the best way that you absolutely can do. So I hope that that helps in some way. It was just reflections from a moment in time that I'm experiencing and that others, so many others are experiencing. And of course, there are so many other people who are experiencing such different challenges in such different ways as well. It's important to not compare those, and it's important to just sit with how you feel and try and regulate yourself. So if you're feeling overwhelmed currently, or if this resonates with you, then I really hope that you feel a little bit calmer from watching this. And of course, share it with somebody if they're going through something as well. We're always here to support and to talk.